I am a 16-year-old male, and I don't really partake in any sports. I'm a computer programmer, gamer, and avid comic book movie enthusiast. That being said, to compensate for my lack of physical activity, I work out at least 4 times a week to maintain a good physique. I have a membership at my local 24-hour gym. I started going 2 years ago. It's a pretty big establishment. They have multiple floors, but I usually spend my time in the main floor, which has a spacious room with all the workout equipment you could want. I usually do a full body workout when I go, so I tend to use all the equipment. That being said, about last week this started. After I finish my cardio, I go down to the padded area where people usually do their ab workouts, and I get started going through my routine. I'm in the middle of doing my plank, and I notice a guy obstinately staring at me. He was on my right and was wearing sunglasses, so I gave him the benefit of the doubt and wrote it off as him looking at something else, as I couldn't see his actual eye. After I proceed to do my next workout, he quickly leaves my head until I get to doing my squats. That's where he was very obviously staring at me. His head was turned in my direction. There was nothing else to look at. I gave him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was just thinking about something. That thought was completely diminished when he came over and without solicitation and touched me, proclaiming that I wasn't doing my squats right, which I of course knew was complete bullcrap. At this point, he has his hand on my glutes. Let me also say that I am very clearly underage. I do not look a day over 15. Everything about this situation was just wrong, and I knew it. I was honestly paralyzed. After I snapped out of it, I thanked him and told him I got it. He smiled with the most perverted and creepy smile ever. He goes back to his area and continues to stare me down like a hawk stalking its prey. I stupidly don't report him and don't tell anybody about the situation. I was extremely perturbed nonetheless. I go back the next day and I pray that he isn't there, but lo and behold, I see him sitting around with his creepy sunglasses. When he sees me, he smiles creepily at me and waves. I don't reciprocate at all. I wanted to avoid all confrontation with this guy. Anyways, I do my cardio without incident, and when I get to the padded area, he is obstinately not there. But in the middle of my workout, the guy plops down next to me and asks, "Hey buddy, how often do you come to the gym?" I was honestly startled and responded with a slurred, "When I can." I put back in my earbuds in hope that would give him the signal that I had no interest in conversing. I start doing my push-ups, and out of the corner of my eye, the creep is just laying there analyzing me. He then decides to give me an anatomy of the bicep. He started touching my arm. He was almost caressing it. I just awkwardly said, "Okay." I was trying to be all cordial as possible, since I didn't want to retaliate and potentially mischaracterize him. I go to this gym often and didn't want to develop a reputation. He then started putting his hand toward my genitalia, and that's when I sprung up and just left. The people around me looked disconcerted, and one woman went up to me and asked if I knew this man, to which I replied no. I still don't report the guy, as I fear that I misconstrued what he was doing and he was just trying to help. The next couple of times I went, I didn't see him at all. But yesterday is when things escalated to a point where I knew this guy had malicious intentions. I am back at the ab workout area, and the guy doesn't confront me at all, but has his phone pointed at me in a suspicious way. It looked as if he was taking pictures of me, of recording me. I was freaked out, but I couldn't say anything because for all I knew, he was reading an article or something. I was unsettled, but continued my workout. This isn't even the worst part. After my workout, I go to wash my hands in the locker room. People in there have a tendency to walk around nude, which I find to be really repulsive, but there's no rule against it. So this sick creep is in the locker room, and I cursed myself under my breath. While I'm washing my hands, this guy comes up literally right behind me and says, "After working out, you should shower. Come with me, I'll help." I tell him to fuck off, and I'm reporting him to the gym and the police. Everybody else in there hears this, and I don't know what happened to him in there as I hauled ass out of there as quick as possible. I do act according to my threat and report him to the gym, but I didn't have a name and there are no cameras in the locker room, so the only evidence I have is him touching me in the gym. I tell my father and he is infuriated. My father goes to the same gym, and when I described the guy to him, my father said that he recognized who I was talking about. He said that guy is always talking to younger people in the gym. It has always creeped him out. That's all for now. We are going to file a police report pretty soon, and I will post as soon as there are further details. Currently experience something similar at my current gym, which reminded me of Brett. I am a male. When I was around 19, I got really into weightlifting at my university's rec center. It was a massive complex with multiple weight rooms, 2 indoor tracks, an Olympic swimming pool, the works. I'd lift 4 to 5 times a week and often cool off with laps in the pool. One day in the weight room, I was approached by a guy named Brett. He didn't look like a student. He was older, probably late 30s, early 40s, but very friendly. The rec center wasn't just for students. Anyone could purchase a membership. Casual conversation is pretty common in gyms, and I was so naive in those days. I didn't think anything of it when he asked personal questions like where I was from and where I worked, which was at a grocery store in my hometown, the next town over. I didn't see this guy in the gym yet every day, but it was common to run into him a couple times a week. We'd shoot the shit for a bit and began to sense that he was interested in more than just saying hi. One day he mentioned that he'd been by the grocery store where I worked, but didn't see me there and wanted to know what my schedule was. Despite me being naive, I immediately recognized that this wasn't normal, and that I didn't want to talk to this guy anymore. I lied and told him my schedule was different every week, and got back to my workout. One day not long after, I was walking into work to start my shift. We started at 9 a.m., and he was there in the foyer just hanging around. He called out and tried to talk to me, but I told him, "Hey man, I'm at work right now." After that, I didn't really talk to him in the gym anymore. Looking for me at my job was too weird, and it pissed me off. He'd approach me, and I'd just coldly say, "Hey," and look away. The final straw was one evening, when I just finished swimming laps. The shower room was an open room with 4 shower stands, each with 4 nozzles pointing north, east, south, and west, so 4 people could use the same stand at once. No curtains, no partitions, which may seem odd these days, but I never thought anything of it since I grew up swimming at this pool. I was in there alone, showering, my swim trunks hanging on the drying rack, when I glanced toward the doorway to the locker area and saw this guy peeking around the doorway watching me shower. He immediately ducked back and was gone by the time I finished up and went to get dressed. I went straight to the service counter to report what had happened. I only knew his first name, but they seemed to know who I was talking about. Never saw him again after that. I'm a sophomore at university. Like many women my age, I find going to the gym to be a pretty nice way to break up or start my day. I typically work out during the mornings, but one day I went into the evening since I didn't have much time earlier. Let me clarify. I understand it's somewhat natural to look at other people in the gym. As a woman, I feel the stares at moments, but never to a point where I need to remove myself from a situation. On this evening though, I noticed an older guy walk into the same workout room as me, and didn't think much of it. I proceeded to work out and thought he left, which relieved me because he gave off some majorly creepy vibes. 30 minutes into my workout, I'm the only girl in the room, and I noticed that he had been sitting in a corner in the back, angled to look at me. Sitting would be an understatement. He was spread out on his side, licking his lips as he stared not just at me, but at my crotch. I wish I said something, but to be honest, I was so stunned by how blatantly gross he was acting, I just got up and left. I reported his actions to a lady working one of the gym desks, describing his build and attire, but she already knew who I was talking about. Yeah, he is super creepy, but we really can't do anything about him. You're not going back there, are you? As creepy as the man was, I was more disturbed by the fact that nothing could be done about it. She even knew him by name, which means others have definitely complained. I still go to the gym, but try to avoid later hours.